Good morning, afternoon, evening, from wherever you are joining us today. We welcome you to our brand new show, AZ900 series. My name is Rashmita, and I am the event planner for Microsoft Reactor India. This session will run over the next 60 minutes, including Q&A. But before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat section will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. I would now like to welcome Swamy, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspirant software architect and currently works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swamy to begin the session. Let me bring him into the stream. Here you go. The floor is all yours, Swamy.
Thank you so much, Rashmita. How are you doing this morning? Uh,
I'm, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining the second session in this AZ 900 series. And we have a lot of things to do. So let's start uh, with this. For today's session, we will be we are discussing the official syllabus of Microsoft AZ 900. So last session, we discussed about this described cloud concepts. We dig deeper into this. Okay. So don't mind. I'm seeing this side. I'm watching this session on the YouTube. If at all there is a query, I'll try to answer it. But I'll be switching gears. Okay. So we described the cloud computing benefits of it and the types we saw that. So now what is that we are going to do? We are going into the second module of this one, and the second module is little bigger, so we break that into different pieces. So if you see that second module is this Microsoft Azure, describe Azure architecture and services. So describe Azure architecture and services, that's coming around 3 hours. So what is that we are going to do today is we are going to discuss this entire block, and at least decent first three items. So Azure Virtual Desktop, containers, and Azure Functions, I'm parking it aside. But apart from that, we will spend time. And today we are going to create resources. Okay, so we'll not just discuss, we'll uh, discuss and also we'll implement things. So that's the good thing about today's session. From today onwards, we'll be spending time, a decent amount of time here on creating the resources, apart from going through the concepts. Okay, without further delay, as I was mentioning, this block will go through complete, and this block will go through 1, 2, 3. Even if it is 5 or 10 minutes extra, we'll spend time. So equally, we'll divide, ensure that which is equally between the theory and concepts and hands-on. Okay, this is the out of this second group. The first thing is describe core architectural components of Azure. That's this block. Okay, so we'll be discussing about regions, region pairs, and sovereign regions, and availability zones, data center, and Azure resources, resource groups, subscriptions, management groups, and hierarchy of resource group and management groups. So if you see that, what is Azure? We have already seen that. It's a cloud computing public cloud, and which provides all the resources over internet. And there are hundreds of services in Azure. If we go here and click on this all services, then you will understand what is that they were talking about. You can see this AI plus machine learning. You have these many services. Under analytics, you have few, and again under compute, and you have containers. We have under databases, DevOps, few of in general, hybrid cloud, identity, integration, management and governance, and migration, mixed reality, monitor, networking, security, storage, web and mobile. So there are tons and tons of things, services here, and every frequently these services either being updated or modified or new services are being introduced. Okay, that's very important. Now, getting started with Azure accounts. So let's see this. I'll speak about the Azure free account, but please do not create that Azure free account right now, because what happens is the moment you click it, the $200 will get expired in 30 days. So wait until you complete this uh, series. So this is the second session. We'll have 4 more sessions. Once you complete those 6 sessions, go through those videos again, understand the concepts more, and then you take this Azure free account. So that way, you know that we have gone through the entire syllabus and you watch the recording for the second time. Now you're ready to do some experiments, because the moment you create the Azure account, the time starts clicking. There are access of products which are free for 12 months and few of the products which are always free, but please wait until you have a good hold on this one, because you want to do some experiment, do those experiments on the $200 credit, where you can take a bigger virtual machine, try a couple of Linux, couple of Windows virtual machines, and do some experiments on that, and costly database. You can do all those things. You can burn those 200 credits, utilize it to the fullest. Okay, so how does this account get organized? So if you see that, let's practically see this. This is the account, my my account, Azure account. Okay, under that Azure account, you will have subscriptions. So what is that? How does the subscription looks? We can go to that subscriptions. First thing is, at the top you will have an account. Okay, under that account you will have the subscriptions. Okay, you can have one or more subscriptions. So that is one or more subscriptions. So each subscription, so right now I've selected Microsoft Azure sponsorship selection, sponsorship subscription. So each of those subscriptions can have multiple resource groups. So that is what you're seeing this in picture. So this, the blue color object which you're seeing here, these are subscriptions. So I have multiple subscriptions. I filtered to show only the Microsoft Azure sponsorship subscription. So different, you can have different subscription. We'll speak about why do we need different subscriptions. So right now this is a resource group which is like a container. Okay, so it has got the metadata, like what all the resources it has inside that. So if you come in here, we will create one of the resource group. So then we will understand. So right now we have to select the subscription as you see in this picture. So a resource group should exist under a subscription. So similarly, you see that under a subscription I'm creating. So RG hyphen AZ 900 dev. I'm calling it as this one. So always use the naming convention. I'll give you the site which I regularly use. I'll switch back to Google here. This one. If you come here, they have given all the naming convention. How do you resource group? So resource group, they are suggesting that prefix it with RG. So always use this as a Bible. so that all the time you need to create any of the resources, the virtual machine or any of the networking appliances or everything. They have given you uh, a very good rules of the game, like how do you name your resources. So if everyone in the team they use the same kind of naming convention, it will be easy for everyone to understand what is this. Okay, RG itself is telling that this is a resource group. I'm putting it inside the I'm creating this resource group inside this region. Okay, so these all things first we will do and then we will understand. Now I'm telling about usage, and this is AZ900 sessions. So that's the tag. And contact, I'm saying contact. Whom should you contact if someone has got some query about this one? Now I will go ahead and I'll create the resource group. So we'll come to a concept, and then we will go. Vikram, all the recordings is there. Rashmita will put it. I mean, this is live there in the recording right now. You are watching in the YouTube. So the previous episode, one episode, and other episodes, everything is there. Okay. So the naming conventions link, sure, I am putting it here. I think I will go back to the meetup so that I'll be able to click. Sunny, just give me 1 minute, Sunny. This one. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Um, Let me come back over here. I'll mute this. Okay. So here is the link. Let's come back to this one. So we just created this resource group. So what is this resource group? Resource group is like a container, like a bookshelf. So where you go and place a lot of books. At this point of time, our book rack is empty. That means we just created a resource group, which is a container, but we don't have any of those resources here. So we understood Azure account, and we understood the subscription. We saw how to create the resources. We'll see that how to create resource group, how to create the resources. We'll start with that. As and when we come across a new terminology, let's do a hands-on. Then you will know that. So Microsoft also provides the sandbox, which you can use it. But for all these things, we will stick to my resource group. I'm not going to activate it. We can activate it, but we'll use mine. So when you are using this Azure or any of these clouds, uh, particularly in Azure, you have two tools. One is PowerShell as well as the Azure CLI. So similarly, if you use AWS, they have their own CLI, AWS CLI, and PowerShell is very much needed skill set when you want to have a footing in Azure cloud, or for a lot of automation, the PowerShell is used. Okay, so you can go to this PowerShell and use this one. So we will do all this exercise, or we can go to the portal. So let's do this exercise right now. So what I will do is I will keep this, bring it out so that it will be easy for us to switch between these two. So if you come in here, there is something known as a cloud shell. So this cloud shell will be backed up with the file system, where it hooks up the file system. So you will be able to store some of the files, and that file is 5 TB. File share is 5 TB. So you can hook this up it's already hooked up behind the scene. You will not know what it is, but you will be able to save some files and do a lot of these things. I want to show a couple of other things here while we are here. So see this, there are two modes. So right now the mode which we are discussing is we want to use the PowerShell CLI. So here if you see this, you can switch between the PowerShell and the Bash. So you confirm it. So what happens is you can use both the skill set. So someone who's from the Linux, those kind of background, you can use Bash shell. Someone who's from the Windows side of the table, we can use this. We can use this PowerShell. So this will not stop us from using any of those uh, any of those i- Azure CLI commands. So we definitely can use that, but this is exclusively for the PowerShell things. So once we come in here, we can use all the commands, all those PowerShell commands. Get. So you see that we can use the get date. Okay, there are a couple of commands, and similarly this also we have already seen that az version that shows what is the version of the Azure CLI. Okay, Azure CLI's version is 2.5.1. So you can ask, can't we use directly in our terminal? Definitely we can do that, but the one advantage using the cloud shell is it takes you into consideration where you have logged in. So you don't need to do the login. I can do all these things. Whatever we did it there in the cloud shell, we can do that, and we can do get date, everything we can do. But if you want to execute some specific things, it needs to know that what is the subscription on which it has to execute this particular command. So for that reason, I mean, it doesn't stop us to log in into Azure from this our terminal, from our local box, and do it. But the advantage is you don't need to do the login because you already logged into the portal. So that takes that credentials here. Okay, so that's the theory about it. And oh, I'm sorry, I flipped it here. And then we can come back to the Bash. Okay, and let's switch it to the Bash. Let me come back to the Bash shell, and need to confirm to the Bash. And the shell itself is in two different colors. The PowerShell is in blue, and the shell and host name. So that means it is some kind of virtual machine or container or something, because when I type host name, it is there. Okay, and I can do ls-l. It shows everything, and this is the drive which I was talking about. This drive is mapped to the file system, and it is a 5 TB. We can store all our files here, and I can execute all the CLI here, and any of the commands which you can execute it. Okay, what is that? Uh, get date. Okay, it's not there, I assume. Current date and time. It's not there. It's PowerShell. It is date. Sorry, Bash. It is date. And another thing is we can use the Azure CLI interactively. So az inter. When I type this az interactive, so it is installing. You can see that it will install few of these things. But the other advantage is it gives you the help or assistance to autocomplete kind of thing. When you are typing something, it assumes that okay, starting with that alphabet, you want to use it. So let's wait for a couple of minutes to see the this one, and we'll see version, and we'll do an upgrade also. uh, Already spent. It's loading few other things. Let's give it a minute. In the meanwhile, we'll discuss other concepts using of portal. So let's come back and spend a couple of minutes on the portal before we continue with our experiment. So as we saw that we had a quick walkthrough of the portal. So this is the hamburger menu, and you can go to the all resources or create a resource, and all the things which you have favorited will be here. You can see that there is a filled in circle. If I remove that circle, that means it will be removed from my favorites. So if I click on that again, it's like a toggle button, so that will be available. So anything new you want to add, you can go to that all services, and you can come in here and click on this. The moment you click, that will come and appear in the favorites, right? And another thing is, if you go, you will go to this home, or you can go to the dashboard also. Every team, they generally create the dashboards. So they want to monitor the resource groups or the cost or log analytics, and some of the logs they want to flush it, so they put it on the board. So next day morning you come and suddenly your application is degrading, so it shows the number of errors and all those things. So it will give you a chance. Okay, so this is has given us, so it's clearly giving us all these things. uh, See this account show, so that's showing the account show. Or so anything with this, any alphabet you type, it shows the all this commands which are available, like easy account or easy whatever it is, it shows. Okay, suppose if we want the web app, okay, so easy web app, that shows some of those easy account show. So here it says that what is that you want, so it is asking us. So if you see web app, uh, command set one, so it shows it here. So there are 5 different commands. So you want to create something, app service plan you want to create, or you want to create a web application, or easy storage account create, or easy storage account show connection string, all those things it is giving us an option. Okay, and another thing is we can try the version right here. So it will do all these things. So I will kill this and we'll proceed uh, further with our concepts. So another thing is portal. Now let's describe the physical infrastructure. So how does a data center looks? So let's see that. Azure data center. So if you see this, the global infrastructure, so there will be lot of different places you can go through this. There will be, this is how the data center will be. There will be different racks and tons of monitor, only lot of cooling, heat, high security areas. Everything will be there on that one. So we can go through this one to understand more about this global infrastructure. So a data center is a area which is totally secure, and will have multiple buildings and multiple racks, and each of those racks will have uh, the hard disk inside which the virtual machines and all those things will be hosted. Now if you see Azure Space, this one, a virtual tour of a Microsoft data center. So it shows that how the data center looks. We can see that one. So it is taking time, but I have kept another tab ready for that to at least see this piece. uh, while it shows the data center. So see this. This is how the data center looks. Okay. So this is the enter the lobby, and this is a lot of things are available here. You can see that there is a security there and a lot of thermal and cooling. Everything will be there inside. So if you want to go to specific things, we can get into that. Perimeter fence, that's a checkpoint. So everything will be, it will be like this. I mean, totally secured. No one will be having access into this one. Let's get back to the globe. We already clicked it, and I will expand this to the fullest. And the good thing is you can see spin it all the way, whichever the way you want. You can. I'm a little weak in this one. Singapore should be somewhere here. You can click on this Southeast Asia. So it clearly shows that the location Singapore, and here when did it open, and availability zones. We'll come back to the availability zones. You have the disaster recovery. We'll discuss that. And if you come in here, so you see all those things. One of this, you can see that what is the data center, what is availability zone, and everything is mentioned in here. Uh, Let me come back. That's physical infrastructure is at the data center location. You have this, so it needs the networking, dedicated power, and cooling, high security, lot of racks, and 24/7 monitoring, video monitoring. And the next thing is region. So here what will happen is when we were creating the resource also we selected it should be in US region. So similarly here itself in this one there will be different regions. So if you see that what is East US region or West US region or different regions you will be having. So we'll see. No, it's not giving any of those things. Let's come back to the back button. And I think we have, let's spend 1 minute time. Okay, it's not that. Okay, this is at least a little bit better. I think this is India. Okay, you see this is South India and Central India, and I think this is a primary region, and I assume this is a secondary region. And there are different regions are there. Legends. One second. Let me go here. Accessibility. Explore the globe. Just give me a minute. Oh, okay, this is where we have come back. So we have the regions also. Where are we? Okay, this one, India. So we can navigate throughout this globe to find out where do we have the regions and all those things. Okay, so you can see that wind project, all those projects, electricity and everything, you can see that. But specifically this is an Indian region. You know that the South India, Central, and India, South Central, South India, and I think there is something in the west also, Mumbai region. There is a data center. So these all things which we can go and view that. Okay. So each will have the regions. So region is like a geographical area where they will place the multiple data centers each nearby. Okay, so that what happens is even if something goes wrong, it we can work with another data center. So there is something known as a availability zone. So this availability zone is within the each region. They will be having another data center few kilometers or miles away from each other. So they maintain all this infrastructure. So what happen is it is having a minimum three data centers or availability zones. So if in a region, if one data center goes down, still there are two other availability zones to support. So while we create a resource or while we create our architecture, we should think about this also, the what is the SLA we are giving to the customers. Suppose ours is a shopping site or any web application, and there will be we are providing service to some other customers. We should give them the SLA, like our site will be up for 96% or 99%, whatever it is. Imagine a scenario when you're ordering some food and the site is coming 10 seconds delay. I will close that and go to some other site. We all do that. So this is from the disaster recovery perspective. Suppose there is a temporary blip, there is a power which went power off in this availability zone. So this availability zone is few kilometers or few miles away from this availability zone. So if you carefully place your application, web application, in two different regions and use the application load balancer or the traffic manager to distribute the load. Imagine even if the availability zone 2 goes off, still people will be able to reach our website and access. So that should be always there when we are creating the architecture. Okay, minimum 3 availability zone. Okay, use of availability zone. So this is what we were speaking about. So we can specifically say that stick this resource to one of the availability zone, and we should go through the SLAs also. Microsoft says that uh, any cloud provider will say that if you use a resource of this kind, I will provide this SLA. So if you are using the SSD, it will be something. If you are using deploying your virtual machine in two different regions, it might be XSLA. Or if you put it in different availability zones, we will provide this will be the SLA. Based on this, we need to decide the architecture, how we want to deploy. So another thing is region pairs. So region pairs will what happen is like South India and West India. So South India might be the primary and Western India might be the secondary. So all the resources from primary, or some all the resources which are eligible to replicate will be replicated in the secondary region. Just in case if there is a disaster in the primary region, you will be able to recover very quickly from the disaster using the resources which has been replicated in the secondary region. Okay, if you see that US West is paid with US East, Southeast Asia is paid with East Asia, and also the advantage is like Azure outages. You can quickly prioritize and planned Azure updates, and data continues reside in the same region. So that means what happen is the paid region is it's again one region versus other region, but still if one region goes down, but still the data is there in the other region. So sovereign regions is some of these very secure regions which will be accessed by uh, companies having the regulatory compliance or legal purpose. So they will not be accessing by any of those other people. Only that particular company or that particular group will access it. So another thing is this Azure resource and resource group. Just now we saw that how to create the Azure resource group. So let me go back here and stay here. So this Azure resource group, you can see that this Azure resource group has been created in a region called East US. We saw that. So the location is East US. So this is the region. And also we saw that subscriptions. So Azure account can have multiple subscriptions. Why do you need multiple subscriptions? Is like if you have two different groups, and one is product and one is service, and product group can deploy all those experiments or their products in their own subscription, and the service group, professional services group, they will use their subscription. So end of the day, when you get a billing, so you get very specific what is the amount spent by the product team and what is the amount spent by the professional services team, and you know that, uh, and we can charge to that particular group based on the amount they are consuming. Okay, so based on like for HR or for the dev teams or those kind of things, we can. Okay, so the regions are connected not through the public; it's through the dedicated. Okay, so Pradeep, the difference between AZ 900 and other training courses is AZ 900 is fundamental, like uh, Azure literacy. Like similarly, you have cloud practitioner in AWS. This is just a literacy level. Oh, you know that, okay, I know what Azure is. They are not going to expect you to have any hands on, but we are going a little bit further so that you can correlate when you see this question in the practical approach. Okay, so, and the management groups. So what happens is you can create the management group, and with the management group I can create the policies and add it. And under management group you can have different resource groups or sub management groups. So that way you can have the granular permissions, or you can say that I'm not going to allow a virtual machine which is more than 200 rupees per month, or these kind of policies, restrictions, everything we can specify in a management group that goes and applies to all the child management groups as well as subscriptions. And again, from subscriptions it goes to the resource group and to resources. Like that, the policy will get applied to all the sections of this tree. So there are some of these rules of the game which will change every now and then. So I'm not getting into that specific. Like right now, 10,000 management groups is supported in the single directory, and 6 level depth. This does not include the root level and subscription level. This does not include the root level and subscription level. So that's one thing. And now we'll create a resource. So in this sandbox, we need to create a virtual machine. So we'll go ahead and create the virtual machine. Let me come back to this resource group. Okay, I'm back here. I just click on create. Let's see that will go. And if you go and click on, so it shows that whatever I have used it recent, or any of your favorite things, you can keep it there. Virtual machine. So we'll see that we have created a virtual machine. This is a Microsoft virtual machine. I'm just going to click on create. One will create Windows, one virtual machine will create on Linux. So this is the one. So VM Win Dev 001. Okay, that's in East US. Here is that availability options. If you want, you can select, put it in an availability zone, availability set, or scale set. We will discuss about this one, but let's look into this one. Uh, Zones we have seen, but again we'll discuss about all these three. I'm not going to take anything. Security type, trusted launch virtual machine, standard basic security should be good enough for us. So now here I can select the image type. You want to go ahead with Windows 10 version Gen 2 or 16 or 2022. So I will select this one, and it is going to x64. ARM is not supported. The spot discount is the one which you will get an heavy discount, all the unused capacity, but there might be a bright chance that you might lose this one. So right now I'm taking uh, a virtual machine, D4S V3, 4 CPU, 16 GB RAM. So costing around 12,000 rupees per month. So user. So we have, okay. Okay. I've created that. So I'm opening the port. That means I want to connect it through the RDP. Licensing at this point of time. Let's confirm this. And the view recommendation right now I'm going to ignore. And again, the performance will depend upon whether I'm taking the HDD, standard disk, or standard SSD or premium SSD. So the performance will be fast. So suppose I want to do some of the experiments and I want it to be very quick, I'll go ahead with that. Now it will create a separate virtual network, subnet, and public IP address. Okay, and all those things it is creating. And some of the things is, you want to save, you're working for 6 hours, so what you can do is you can do an auto shutdown. Sandeep, I'll just take your question, just give me a minute. You can select the auto shutdown. That means after 6 o'clock you can shut down, and you can do this, enable OS guest diagnostics and all these things. First I'm selecting, and you can have a custom data. Any script you want to do it, you can do it. And cloud init is for the Linux machines. And again, we can have the tags. I'll go ahead and click on review and create. Let's create it. Let's create this. And while it is creating, so it is costing around 15 rupees per hour. And that is as long as I'm keeping that machine on. If I do stop deallocate, I'll not be charged, but all the uh, hard disk and others which is allocated for us, it will be charged only for that. Okay, what's your question? Does Azure provide free AZ voucher? They might provide. We are. I'll get back to you in the next session, Sandeep. Okay. I'll see that how can is it possible or not. Okay. I'll check and I'll get back to you. So if you see that when you're creating a virtual machine, how many resources it is going to create. So when it comes to this one, you can click on each and every row item to see that what is that it is creating. So if you see that it is created a virtual network, its name is VNet, and it has created the public IP. You can get into this operation details and to find out what is the type of resource it is creating and how many seconds or milliseconds it took. So you can click on this operation details to get deep into the weeds to find out what is that it took uh, time for. Let me do a quick refresh over here and see uh, the network interface card. So it created the network interface card, and that's the name, the network interface card's name, ID. And we saw this one, and this was the thing which was, yeah. So you can see this, the public IP address. So win VM, VM win dev 001 IP. This is a public IP. It will have, we'll go and see into that public IP the moment it gives us the control. Okay, while it is cooking up, we'll cover a few of the concepts. So we just created the virtual machine. We will see that. Okay, that's the first section we completed. So let me come back over here, stick it, so that we'll speak about the next concept. This is the one. But where did I miss that? Talking about tractor regions, pairs. I discussed, but something is missing. Here, that's what I was thinking about. So availability, it was showing this scale set, availability set, and zones, right? It was showing those things. So first I want to go ahead with the uh, this one, availability set. So there are two concepts. So one is the fault domain, one is update domain. So when we are provisioning the virtual machine, at that time it shows us to choose the availability set also. I think I forgot to show you that, but we'll create one more virtual machine for that. So you see that to create that virtual machine, we have virtual machine, we have public IP address, we have NSG network security group, we have a virtual network, we have interface card, and we have the hard disk. So we can click on the resource visualizer where it is going to show that how the things are connected. So see this, the virtual network and public IP coming to this, hooked up to this network interface card and the network security group. So this network interface card is hooked up to the virtual machine, hard disk is hooked up to the virtual machine. Okay, so now once you come back to this network interface card, sorry, network security group here, if you go to this network security group, this is where you will have the inbound and outbound rules. So if traffic is coming on this port, what should I do? If the traffic is coming on this port, what should I do? So everything will be here. So at least at the first cut we will discuss, and again we'll come back. And I want to show you that one piece, update domain and fault domain. Let's go ahead. Recently created the virtual machine. I can go ahead and create the virtual machine. That is very important thing. VM demo, demo. Size authentication. Let me select the Windows. Okay, I've selected. So here, if you see availability set, so if you have the availability set, we didn't create the availability set, but that will give us an option to provision. So you can secure your virtual machine by selecting in the availability set. Suppose you are deploying more than one virtual machine, so you can choose that place it in this availability set, place in this availability set. So each availability set is made up of the update domain and fault domain. So let's assume this is a rack and this is another rack. So within the rack, it will go and place your virtual machine. Suppose you're deploying 6 virtual machine. So it ensures that it is placing the first virtual machine in update domain 1, second in update domain 2, and third in update domain 3, fourth in update domain 4, 5, and 6. And similarly, you have 3 fault domains and 20 update domains. So if it is going to place your virtual machine in different fault domains also, so it divides into update domains and fault domains. So what happens is, if something goes wrong in the entire fault domain, but still you have these virtual machines, suppose someone plugged out the power of this one, but still these virtual machines are available. So if they want to do an update, so they will do update of this and then go to update of this, like this they do the updates. So placing it in the fault domain and update domain, see, this is the correct picture. Fault domain, 3 fault domains, and this is a rack, and it has got individual powers. So it places properly fault domain 1, fault domain 2, fault domain 3. So if you see horizontally, it is update domain 1, update domain 2, update domain 3. So if this update domain is getting rebooted or updated, or any eventualities happen, but still these update domains are up and running, so still your virtual machine is in safe hands. So that's one concept we wanted to discuss. Okay, the update domain and fault domain. Another thing is virtual machine scale set. We'll come back to this one. This is little big concept. I don't want to derail our this thing. We'll come back to that one, and we'll go and create a Linux virtual machine. And let's come back here. At least we need to log into our virtual machine and see that how does it look. So how do you log in? You can click on this into the virtual machine, and here you will have this connect, and this is the public IP address of this, and VM availability status, it clearly shows that it is available. And I can click on this, and you can see the size and networking, the scaling options, all the other things which we can see here, like auto shutdown, a lot of things which we saw there we'll be able to do from here also. I'll do it from the overview pan. We'll create a Linux virtual machine also. Let's quickly go and uh, connect using RDP. And let's wait till it validating the access. Okay, it gave green. Now let's go ahead and download it. Okay, it has downloaded the RDP file. So I'll double click. We'll use this remote desktop. So use a different user. So I've given that. I click on yes. Now it is configuring the session. There you go. Imagine a scenario, I want to do this experiment only for 3 to 4 days. For entire month, with this 4 vCPUs and 12 GB RAM, I'm getting Windows 10 Pro Edition virtual machine. And if I want to do purchase it on my own, it will cost me a lot. See this, a beautiful Windows virtual machine. Now I got it. Windows 10, right? Another thing, this is infrastructure as a service. So I have provision. They've given me all the hard disk and everything, and other ports are blocked. So let's keep it alive for few minutes, and let's go ahead and quickly create a second virtual machine, which is of Linux type. Okay, I will place it here, and I'll copy this command here. Okay, and the next thing is I'll copy this command to configure the nginx. Okay, that's cool then. So let me come back to my resource group. I'll come back over here and go back to the bash shell. I'll go back to the bash shell. Now we created a Windows virtual machine. Now our resource group is this. What you can do is you don't need to select, you do a triple click, 1 2 3, it selects that. That's productivity tip. Now I'm giving this resource group name, and a resource group name. So the terminal is here. We can execute this first command. Copy. Let me paste it here. Right, this is the correct one. Because previously there were uh, few special characters. I saw that. Uh, so it is creating the virtual machine. So while this virtual machine is being created, we can do this refresh. It shows that we are little impatient. That's fine, but let's see how it is creating. I mean, we can see this. Uh, oh, all the things which are starting with my. I'm dead against this naming convention, my. But due to lack of time, let's stick to the game plan. And that's done. So we'll set this extension and copy. So you can see that it has created, and you can see this MAC address, public IP, everything is here. And what we can do is to verify, we should have two virtual machines. Like this is one virtual machine. So similar icon we should see, one for the Linux also. Yeah, it is over here. So we can come back to this Linux virtual machine. So we installed, I mean, we created a Linux virtual machine, and then we are installing the extension, that is the nginx. So nginx is something like a IAS server. So in this one, if I go to inet mgr, so we don't have the inet mgr. If we have the inet mgr, we would have been able to access this from outside. Did we open the port first thing? Port 80 is not, but we will open it, no problem. That's not a big deal for us. It's 11, we'll wind up in next 5 minutes. So let me go to copy this one and if I paste it in this one, most probably it's because of the networking thing. Let's go to, this is the one. It shouldn't take this much time. Let's go to this networking. We have the VNet and Nick. We need to go. The network interface card. Let me come back over here. And networking. Let's go to this networking. And let's go to the inbound rules. So let's add a inbound rule for port 80. And that's the HTTP 80. Action is allowed, because what's happening is, as we have seen in the resource visualizer, so the network the network security group, it will have the first line of defense, which will drop all the packets if you don't enable any of those ports. So now we can try this. The Nginx is available, so we are able to see that. So what is happening is, we can go back to this one and select the resource visualizer. You will see that here, if you see, yeah, this one, this is the Linux virtual machine. Okay, so the Linux virtual machine, the network interface card is attached to this one, and that is secured by the network security group. So even though we installed Nginx with the second command on Linux machine, but the traffic was getting dropped by this guy. So what did we do? We went into the network security group. We punched the hole in the firewall saying that, hey, please allow HTTP traffic. So it comes through here, here, and here, where we have installed the Nginx. You can see that that's the command which we were configuring this. So even though you install the Nginx server, still you'll not be able to access it until unless you go ahead and punch the hole in the firewall. Okay, here if you want to connect, you can connect through SSH, because we don't have the desktop shell for Linux boxes. So what we can do is, we can still go ahead and connect using the SSH. We can still go ahead and connect through the SSH. This one, Azure CLI. So you can click on this. So again, it will validate whether do we have access to the port 22. And when we were accessing the desktop for that Windows virtual machine, even there it did that. So this is how we can do this one. We can to SSH into this one, we can provide these things, this command, and we can try that real quick. It's not going to take much time. If it is working, it's working. If it is not, uh, oh, by default, when we create this one, it opens up port 22. Here the first command, Sunny. Let me give that a shot. So see that my VM. So right now I'm inside the VM. So if I give host name, it shows sudo apt get update. Ah, God, it's very strict. Okay, let me upgrade. It's upgrading a bunch of files. We can do curl from here, or we can do it from here. It's the same, isn't it? The virtual machine, if you see the IP address, what we provided 52 240. Okay, so 52 240. So like that, we will be able to connect it through the SSH, and for Windows machine, it is RDP. Okay, so that port, while we are creating the virtual machine, we selected in one of the screen, we selected that port. Okay, so that's it for this session. Rashmita.
Sure. I don't see any other questions coming at the moment. So I
Mhm.
think we can end our show for today. Thank you, Swamy, and thank you all for joining us today. Please visit the Microsoft Reactor website for more upcoming session. Feel free to use the Learn module links, which I've already shared in the chat section. This will give you access to additional resources to take your learning further. Thank you all once again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.